Hey everybody. Today I wanted to do a video solely on postpartum anxiety and depression. I think it is a subject that isn't talked about very often, and I think it should be, because a lot of people are suffering and don't really talk about it and don't really understand what they're going through. So I'm putting my experience out there. I know I've talked about it, I've touched on it occasionally in some of my videos, but I wanted to do a full video on it for anyone interested in watching. Okay, so right now I am 7 weeks postpartum with baby number 2, and I'm still experiencing postpartum depression. Well, first of all, I want to go back to my experience with my first baby, and let's see, I had Eli. He's 16 months old right now, so back when I had him, I kind of I knew postpartum depression was something that could happen. I don't know, I think they say like maybe 12%, something like that, of people experience it, and I was like, oh yeah, whatever, you know. I didn't really think it could happen to me, which is kind of strange, because I do have a history of depression. So when you have a history of depression, you're more likely to experience postpartum depression. So that should have been clue number 1. But anyway, because my whole pregnancy was wonderful. I didn't experience really any mood swings, which is odd. But hey, I loved it, you know. I didn't have mood swings. So after his birth, it was kind of a traumatic birth and everything. I'm not going to go into it, but I ended up with a C-section, and like maybe 2 or 3 days, about 3 days after his birth, it was the day that we went home. Before we left the hospital, I started having like major anxiety, like hyperventilating. I was like shaking. I was freaking out. And I just chalked that up to the fact that, you know, I was a new mom and didn't really know, you know, kind of was nervous about it, and nervous about taking him home, because I really didn't have much experience with him while there in the hospital, because he was in the NICU the whole time. He's fine. But it was just a precaution, basically, and so I didn't really, I mean, they would always hand him to me, so I didn't actually physically get to pick him up until the day we left. And I was really nervous about it, and I thought, oh, it's just nerves, you know, I'm just nervous. And then after getting home each day, I was having severe anxiety. I guess I was having some depression, but it was mainly just severe anxiety. Like, as soon as the sun would go down, or, you know, the sun would start going down, I would just start feeling, it would come on really strong, and I would like shake and couldn't sleep. It was just, I was like terrified. So, I think my doula at that time, she gave me, I asked her what I could do to help, you know, something natural, because I didn't want to take medications I was trying to nurse, which I couldn't do, and that was causing, everything was just causing severe anxiety. So, you know, I took herbs, I took lemon balm, I took St. John's wort. I think those are the main ones, the only ones that I took. But anyway, so that at that time it lasted maybe 3 weeks. I started feeling better. The anxiety was going away. I wasn't really having too much depression, and so the whole anxiety and depression lasted about 3 weeks with my first pregnancy. With the second one, I'm now 7 weeks postpartum and I'm still having depression. And the way it manifested this time was, okay, first of all, during my pregnancy, I had a lot more mood swings. A lot of mood swings. I had, my anxiety started with in the pregnancy, so I was having that, and I was like, oh man, you know, this is really going to be bad this time. I just had a feeling. So I planned on doing placenta encapsulation, which I did, because I read that that helps with postpartum anxiety and depression. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that. I was kind of trying to plan ahead of time, so I'd be prepared. Well, okay, so after having the baby, I had another C-section, and the anxiety and depression started a lot sooner this time. It was like on the day after. I started anxiety and just feeling like nervous and scared all of a sudden, and like it was worse in the nighttime, and it was just all happening again. So I kind of knew what it was when it happened, because I was like, oh yeah, I experienced this last time. So I was like, oh, here we go. So I was only in the hospital 2 days this time. Last time was 3 days. So as soon as I got home, I was like, oh, and I got the placenta pills. They brought them to the hospital, so I had those. I started them right away. I don't know whether or not they helped. I took them as directed. They may have helped. It may have been a lot worse if I hadn't have taken them, so I can't say whether or not they helped or not. I don't know. It may have been a lot worse if I hadn't. So anyway, and I had St. John's wort and the lemon balm again. And so I immediately started that, because it came on, because anxiety was really bad, and the depression was there, but it was like, at first the anxiety was a lot worse than the depression, and then as the days went on and the weeks went on, it kind of switched, and the anxiety got better each day, but the depression kind of went up. So that's kind of how it was. So the anxiety hung around for like 3 weeks again. But toward the end, it was getting a lot better, but the depression was getting worse. So that's kind of how it's been. I don't really have too much anxiety. It's just more depression. And I don't know, I think maybe some has to do with the fact that I do have a newborn and I have a toddler. I mean, a 16-month-old and a 7-week-old, and just trying to meet the needs of both kids, and losing my identity in the process, and you know, I don't feel like doing anything most of the time, and it's just a struggle to get up in the morning and do anything. It's really unpleasant. I did discuss my feelings with my midwife when I saw her the 23rd of December, and today's the 30th, so she did give me a prescription for antidepressants. I haven't filled them yet. I'm still, you know, oh, I can do it, you know, but I may end up just doing it, just getting it filled. I can't breastfeed. I'm not doing it. I have IGT. I'm not able to breastfeed. I tried for a month with Eden, but I don't make enough. I mean, I make maybe a teaspoon or two a day, and she's so hungry. I mean, she gets frustrated when she's not getting, you know, and she's just getting a couple drops here and there. And I don't blame her. I mean, who would want to, if you're hungry or thirsty, who would want a couple drops? And you get frustrated, so I don't blame her. And but I need to, so I just stopped. I'm not going through what I did last time, and It was so frustrating. It added to the anxiety. It added to depression. I'm trying to make it easy on everybody. So I kind of went off on a tangent there, but I'll do a whole video on the breastfeeding issue again, because I know there are people who struggle with the same condition that I do, and I'm going to do a video on that. So yeah, I'm struggling with a lot of the feelings of failure, like, oh, you can't feed your kids, and you don't have the basic function of breastfeeding, and and it's just all this stuff just goes through my head all day long. And yeah, it's no fun. But another thing that goes along with what I'm experiencing is I have no patience. And I know it's just the fact that I do have a toddler and a newborn, and sometimes they're both screaming at me at the same time, and I literally feel like I'm going to lose my mind, like my head is just going to split open. And sometimes I have to bite myself. I just have to bite really hard because I feel like I'm going to scream. I'm going to lose control. I'm afraid I'm going to hurt one of the kids. I mean, that is like the biggest fear that I have, is hurting one of the kids. It's like, I can't even imagine, But I know it's like when you get to that point where you're feeling so out of control, and I have to like just put the baby down, and I sometimes just have to walk away, or make sure they're safe, of course, but sometimes I just have to bite myself really hard because I'm just like freaking out. Like in my mind, I'm freaking out. It's hard to admit that, and I feel like a terrible mother, but I know everybody goes through this. I know it. So I know I'm not alone. I mean, I even told my midwife, I was like afraid to tell her, I'm like, I just sometimes feel like I'm gonna just snap. And she's like telling me a story about her, like holding her newborn son, her first kid, and it was a hot day in the city, and there was an open window, and she just like had visions of throwing him out the window. So I know like those, everybody goes through it. It's freaky, and I hate it. And I just get these like obsessive thoughts, and I'm admitting this stuff to you guys because I know I'm not the only one, and I want you to know that you are not the only one that goes through this. Yeah, it's just, and I can't watch the news. I can't, because anything I hear about a child being hurt or abuse or anything, I will dwell on it, and it will ruin my whole day. Like, I will just cry, I will just lose it, because I just imagine that happening to my kids. And they're called intrusive thoughts, and it's a normal thing, but I can't let them run my life, because that's when you have a problem, when those intrusive thoughts run your life. So I just make sure I don't watch it, I don't listen to it, and I'm just trying to stay strong, and I'm trying to get through this, and taking each day one day at a time. When they just start yelling and screaming and crying at the same time, I just like, okay, sometimes I just have to talk to God and be like, God, please just help me get through this, and it helps. So, but there aren't many days that I don't cry at least once. Yeah, sorry I'm saying so much. Usually at least once a day I'm crying. Sometimes it's because my son gives me a look, like, why are you holding her? Why aren't you holding me? And it just breaks my heart, And I try really hard to bring my daughter in, because I want them to bond. I want them to be friends. I mean, I know he's just too young. He doesn't understand, and he's rough. He's really, really rough. And sometimes he's really sweet with her, and you know, he'll clap her little hands together, and but then other times like today, he was being sweet, and then all of a sudden, for no reason, he just stuck his finger in her eye. I mean, well, she had her eyelids closed, thank God, but he just went poke. She started screaming, and he lost it. He just started screaming and crying. He was so upset that he hurt her, which is a good thing because it teaches him that, you know, there's consequences to what you do. But it just broke my heart. I mean, I just cried right along with them. I'm just getting choked up thinking about it. You know? And is it always going to be like this? Am I always going to be this emotional? You know, I don't know. I hope not, because oh, it's crazy. I mean, but there are times during the day when I do feel genuinely happy, and like I feel joy, and then other times it's just a struggle. You know, today's been a hard day. So I'm putting this out there for everybody, and please don't don't comment hateful comments, because I don't know if I can handle it, really. Just, you know, be nice, be kind, and if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. Because I already feel bad enough. And again, I'm sorry for the ums. Okay, so one of them should be getting up soon. It's rare that they're actually both asleep at the same time. So, but on a lighter note, I have a lot of videos that I want to do. I've had requests for an updated what's in my diaper bag video for 2 kids, and I want to do some more product reviews and things like that. I still never finished Vlogfest, so I have to do that. So okay, that's it, guys. This is real life. This is me, and I hope this maybe can help 1 or 2 people out there, just to know that you're not alone. All right. I love you guys. God bless everyone. Bye.